what's going on guys? Arekkz here, and today I want to talk about Outer Worlds. More specifically, let's talk about science weapons. For those of you guys that have been playing the game, maybe you may have encountered these already, but if you haven't, science weapons are kind of like Outer Worlds' version of legendary weapons, special weapons. Effectively, they are weapons that each have a special effect to them outside of just dealing straight damage. They still function as weapons, you can still use them, but they also have a unique, rather interesting perk that makes them so special. Additionally, these weapons don't scale off of the typical weapon skills like regular weapons do. Instead, these ones actually scale off of your science skill. There's one science weapon for each of the weapon types in the game, and these are typically obtained by accessing the logs in the captain's quarter of your ship, and you then follow a quest and you can basically obtain these. There are 5 in total, so in this video, we're going to take a look at all 5 of those, where you get them, what they do, and just in general, everything you need to know about the science weapons. So, let's start off with the handgun, the shrink ray. This is by far the easiest science weapon to obtain. You can actually get this as soon as you fix your ship. You head over to Phineas's lab and you enter the main room, and to the right of Phineas on the table is the shrink ray. It's literally that simple. You probably might have even encountered this one without even realizing what it is, but you can pick this one up, and the shrink ray, I mean, it kind of says what it does on the tin, right? It is a gun that shrinks people. It fires a continuous beam that does plasma damage, but if you maintain this constant fire, the target can then rapidly shrink down in size, which reduces their armor and their damage value. So it is also kind of useful. It might be one of those ones where if you don't necessarily want to use it yourself because you need to kind of maintain that fire, you might want to give it to, say, one of your companions, and then you can then use that, accordingly. Either way, point is, it's a shrink ray, fire at your enemies, they shrink, they become vulnerable. It's a good fun weapon. The next one on the list is a two-handed melee weapon. This is the prismatic hammer. This one you can obtain on the Groundbreaker space station. Once you get through customs, you want to head over to the crew quarters behind the storage room to the left, climb up on top of the beds, and head through the vent on the back wall. You want to be prepared to kill a load of enemies in the room, but once you've cleared that room, one of the outlaws will have a key to the door on the right, and inside that you will find the prismatic hammer. This weapon is special because it constantly alternates between every type of damage when you use it, but more importantly, if you then perform a powerful attack, or a power attack should I say, it'll actually deal every type of damage at once in a huge pulse of energy, which is awesome. I mean, anytime I get to use a hammer and just deal a ton of damage, then it's definitely a win-win situation. After that, we then have a one-handed melee weapon, which is the mandible rearranger. This is found on Scylla, I believe that's how you pronounce it. You want to head down the road towards the buildings on your left. You then want to clear out the enemies there, head into the building, and you can then find the rearranger there. This weapon causes enemies to get staggered, and with enough hits, it'll also freeze them in place. At the same time, however, every hit also warps the target's face and pitch shifts their voice, which, I mean, I'm sure you can imagine, results in some rather interesting and hilarious gameplay. After that, we then have a heavy weapon called the gloop gun. This one is found on Monarch, specifically at the abandoned mining outpost. After you enter the building, you can find the gun on the right in a case. However, unfortunately, it is locked by a terminal with a ridiculous hacking check of 100. So if you haven't spec'd that way, then you might be thinking this is unfortunately out of your reach. Now luckily, however, the key is not too far. Clear the rest of the room, head upstairs, and you can then find the key on one of the tables in the initial room. You then head back down to the terminal and access it, and then in order to open the case, you'll either have to hack it open or answer 3 security questions. The answers are: protect the chairman, berate him relentlessly to defend the chairman's honor, and finally, arrest your spouse and admit your children to a reduction program. Once you've opened the case, the gun is yours. It's a grenade launcher-esque weapon that shoots out electrified gloop, and anything that's caught in it is subject to an anti-gravity effect, which can be hilarious when used on larger enemies. Basically, these weapons are just for having a ton of fun, so if you're not trying to take things too seriously, 100% you want to get these. Then finally on the list we have a long gun, which is the mind control ray. This one is actually probably the most involved to obtain. In fact, if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, then I recommend picking up the quest Space Crime Continuum, which can be taken from Lilia Hagen on the Groundbreaker at the Sublight offices. Follow the quest to Monarch, where you'll eventually find yourself in the Rizzo secret lab near Cascadia landing pad. And at the final terminal, where you siphon the gas, you want to head towards the elevator, but take a right into the empty elevator shaft jump across the platforms and climb the ladder to find the final weapon, which is the Mind Control Ray. This weapon emits a continuous beam that turns an enemy into an ally temporarily, which can of course then be used for singling out an elite enemy. So basically, it's pretty handy. Either way, that is your look at the 5 science weapons in-game, where you can find them, and of course, what they do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Of course, be sure to keep it locked. Let us know how you guys are getting on with Outer Worlds. We've got some more videos coming your way later on this week, so if you're hyped for that stuff, then definitely stick around. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.